71 years old. Sometimes I wonder what the hell I'm doing. I think I'm a damned idiot, but I just love it, and I'll continue loving it until my last breath.
A man we all know, we all love here in Cleveland, EC3.
Third time's a charm to be on the podcast. You're something to get this far, Glenn. 3-time guest.
One of the things that they do is called the Legends House, where they throw everybody together and they all live together. Would you do that?
Can we smoke weed?
Probably not. I don't know.
Hell no, I couldn't be up in there with all that damn folks.
So Porn and Chicken, for those of you listening, feel free to YouTube this right now. Porn and Chicken is a huge party in Chicago where I currently live. It's a rave.
And he made his NXT debut this week, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here, gentlemen. Thank you for that awesome intro.
There you go.
Try and get your ass kicked so you can get publicity. So then I thought, I'm going to try and get Ric Flair to kick my ass.
Do you want Frankie to sing?
If you want to sing, yes.
Frankie, if you could take your best, this is your chance to
and then I
woo
can dance
Blue
while
Pants.
he sings.
You could serenade Blue Pants right now. There are wrestling nerds, geeks across the universe who would relish in this moment. Gregory Iron Freddy Krueger t-shirt out for Halloween.
It's great. Great shirt.
God bless.
You son of a bitch.
Hi, Scott. My name's Ethan. This guy has your phone number, and he actually has it saved as Scott Steiner, like he knows you. But he doesn't, and he calls you all the time. Next time, pick up.
Tell me you're a wrestler.
No, I don't want him to know that. End call.
Just really appreciate everything you've done for the sport, and we'd love to hear from you. So thanks a lot, and, go wrestling. I blew it at the end. I blew it at the end by saying go wrestling. I couldn't think of a way to wrap it up.
Eddie Kingston.
Well, that's me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys. I had a blast, man.
Really appreciate it. Love to have you on again, man.
Glenn Moore at Glenn Moore. And Steve Guy at The Steve Guy, folks.
All right, super kick party.
Yeah.
One person. Who would it be?
Oh, man.
Jim Cornette.
I don't know if I'd waste it on him.
Who would you want to feud with on the main roster right now?
I think a lot of people would say John Cena, and I'll say John Cena also just because, one, he's my kid's favorite wrestler, and I don't know, I would love for my son to be able to see me in the ring with John Cena.
I don't know, it's just everything.
You're not ratchet, see?
Do I look ratchet to you? Excuse me? I will slap you across your face.
Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and Steve Guy.
I'm Glenn Moore, Steve Guy, joining me here in studio. This is Awesome Wrestling Show, and we are going to be recapping the year of 2015 in WWE, also with our show and what we've done this whole year. And we'll talk some AIW because we were almost at every single show at AIW. So a lot of stars come through. A lot of the stars spoke to us on the podcast. So we're going to go over some of our top interviews, maybe play some clips from our top interviews as well. But Steve, before we get into WWE and what they did for 2015, it wasn't a banner year for them, even though it kind of is ending here strong. We are recording here on December 15th on Tuesday, so we apologize if anything happens after this date in WWE, but this is where we're at, recording our recording our top moments of 2015 in WWE. So, Steve, before we get into WWE and AIW and what happened with the other promotions, let's talk about our show, because this is our first full year of doing the show.
It's a banner year for us.
We are at in the 60s in our episodes, so we went through a whole year, and we've had some great guests. We've had some intense interviews. We've had some fun interviews, some fun interactions, even though the mics were turned off. We had a chance to go to WrestleMania, paid for, basically, in San Francisco, and cover WrestleMania. We're part of the media and access. Had a chance to speak with some of the WWE superstars. We were at WrestleMania. NXT, before WrestleMania, came here to Cleveland.
Yeah.
We had a chance to interview Kevin Owens and Sasha Banks and Corey Graves. Be backstage for that. See the show in the Agora, which was a great show to watch in that small venue back in March. And AIW has had a great year for them, and we were lucky to be a part of it, being in the locker room area, interviewing, but also becoming friends with some of the wrestlers, interviewing them, part of our show. But, Steve, I mean, overall, a great year for us. I think we took a lot of steps forward, and our numbers have improved throughout the year, which is all you can ask for.
It pretty much is, yeah. Also, we not just going to WrestleMania, but getting to sneak into Evolve, that show that weekend. We got to see Uhaa Nation, and I'll never remember his name right now. Apollo Crews, sorry, his new name here in NXT. So we got to see him before he really
Johnny Gargano
broke through. Johnny, I mean, we went there to support Johnny, but we got to see some cool stuff. We saw Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Coming
Page
out of
was
there.
Ethan
Page was there. His first Evolve show at the time.
So we've seen a lot of wrestling this past year.
We have.
We have watched, which is nothing abnormal, because you and I have watched wrestling for years. So us watching wrestling, but we have watched a little bit more because of the show, because of going out to San Francisco, because of AIW here in Cleveland. But some interviews that stick out. We've had a ton of guests on the show.
Of course.
We've had a ton of thanks to all the dirt sheets for linking us out. Usually I transcribe, send out the shows, and it's up to them if they want to post and link out. And usually our shows get linked out by websites, and we get a lot of links and views and listens because of them. But a lot of these, Seth Rollins was our top interview of 2014. We still get clicks off that interview now. And even for a few months into 2015.
Did we interview him?
That was December 2014. Steve.
That was before he was champion.
Correct. That was I was promoting TLC in Cleveland last year.
Yeah.
And for him, that interview still gets pubs, but I mean, we didn't do that in 2015, so it's not part of our year in review for our show and for WWE. But we had EC3 on the show right after he won the title. The taping was shown the day after we had him on the show. We also had Gargano. We had a great interview with him. He's been part of NXT this whole year. We've had Adrian Neville, known now as Neville, on the show.
Yeah, that's right. He was in NXT.
Yeah,
and that was pretty close to his
say
call up.
Within a month after WrestleMania, he got called.
Yeah,
it was the
night after WrestleMania.
Yeah. So, within a month he was called up.
Yeah,
Kevin Owens, same thing. He was called up a couple months after that. He faced John Cena and beat Cena. We'll talk about that match later on. Young Bucks.
Which that was something that actually Kevin Owens, when we interviewed him, said he would like to go against John Cena.
That's true.
Because his kid was such a huge John Cena fan.
And his first match in WWE main roster, he beats John Cena.
Yeah.
We had the Young Bucks, always the internet darlings of wrestling, had them come on the show. We had Samoa Joe come on the show.
Oh, Samoa Joe, we became buddies.
Yeah, with Samoa Joe, we interviewed him, and I had the interview up and ready, transcribed, before he even had his match that night. It was already out there.
Yeah.
It was already making waves on Twitter and also the dirt sheets before he even got in the ring to face Johnny Gargano that night in Cleveland. Terry Funk, awesome to talk with Terry Funk.
You're a pervert.
Yeah, we had Grado, who is now... He was starting to catch on earlier. Now he's just...
Oh, now he's caught fire.
He is...
Thanks to... A lot, in part, thanks to a guy who's really taken Grado under his wing.
Yeah.
Colt Cabana, also guest of the show.
Yes, he was on the show as well. So we've had a lot of guests on our show. We also had probably, the biggest interview we got. John Thorne, famous John.
Hashtag get John Thorne famous.
John Thorne's been a part of the show. So we've had a lot of interviews, and we apologize for other people who have been on the show, like a Chris Sabin. We had also Taylor Hendricks, Little Guido. We had DJ Z from TNA. We had Chris Perez. We had Gary Barnage. We had The Miz, Bo Dallas, Dangerous Doug Gilbert, Tessa
Sexual
Blanchard.
Chocolate, Mark Henry.
Yeah, Mark Henry, Tim Dunst, Gregory Arm, Lillian Garcia,
Heath Slater,
Brian Myers, also known as Kurt Hawkins, Ethan Page. We had Leva Bates, a.k.a. Blue Pants, Nick Gage, probably the most intense interview we've had all year.
Crazy Mary Dobson.
Crazy Mary Dobson. I mean, we had a lot of guests this year.
Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, I said her.
Oh, you did? I missed that.
Let's see, who else?
Sasha. Did you say my girl Sasha?
Yeah, we talked about her.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite interviews was with Sasha Banks. She's probably not ever listening to this, but it was all in good fun still, Sasha. That was fun doing that interview with her, because she is such a different person. She's one of those people who is great.
Right.
In the ring, on the camera, being in her character and her role. And then we're sitting there talking to her, and I'll never forget, I had to drag the boss out of her.
Yeah.
Sasha, you're being so nice right now. Oh, really? What?
Yeah, ratchet. Cedric Alexander from Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
We also had Larry Zbyszko, the living legend, Hall of Famer, on the show as well. So we had a ton of guests on the show, and a lot of these interviews took off on the dirt sheets and social media, and still get plays right now. I mean, our most popular show, Steve, right now from previously, Nick Gage is still getting a ton of views. Jerry the King Lawler, our first show ever with Jerry the King Lawler, still is one of our top 5 shows as of right now. Leva Bates, her shows are getting some plays. Ethan Page. Oh, we can't forget our good buddy Eddie Kingston, our third.
Eddie Kingston, of course.
Our third show host, Eddie Kingston.
Great show with Eddie Kingston. Then Eddie Kingston jumping in with the Leva Bates interview.
Yeah, so a lot of great shows, but we talked about a lot of what our top moments are from those interviews, and we had a chance to speak with a lot of guys, not even on the mic. Hardcore Holly is one.
Yeah.
To myself, I know a lot of people here in Cleveland and AIW don't agree with Vader and how he's a douche, but Vader, to me, we talked for like an hour to shooting the shit. I mean, Vader is one of my favorites, and he didn't charge me for a photo either, so that was great too.
I've always said the interview that wasn't really an interview was when we got to meet Neville backstage at NXT.
Yeah.
We interviewed him going into that, and then he knew exactly who we were. Oh yeah, hey guys, we talked to him for like 15 minutes, just hanging out.
Small guy, really small.
Very short.
He's shorter than you, Steve.
He is shorter than I am, but he is a lot more built than I am.
So we had a lot of great guests, a lot of great memories for the show. Being a part of AIW, seeing a lot of great matches, and being backstage and seeing how everything works in an independent scene. I wasn't really hip to the independent scene before this year. I've been strictly mainstream with WB, some TNA, but not really getting a taste of what independent scene really is. And I think we're lucky here in Cleveland to have AIW, not only because they bring in some old-time guys that we've loved growing up and watching, like Terry Funk, Hardcore Holly, Scott Hall going to be here this week as we record this, but to bring in like a Vader, and also to have the money to put on a match that I don't think anybody else in the independent scene can say, that you have top guys from WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground be a part of one match when you had Samoa Joe, you had EC3, you had, help me out here,
Matt Cross
from Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
You had DJ Z.
DJ Z.
You had
also an interview from this year.
Johnny Gargano, the Young Bucks. Alex Daniels, who's really been taken off here locally in Cleveland. And
Josh Prohibition was in that match.
Too. So, I mean, you had a lot of guys from Cleveland Wrestling, but also...
Oh, and Ray Rowe. Ray Rowe was also
too,
in that
Ring
too.
of Honor. You had all those guys in one match. Probably the most expensive match independent, over $10,000 for one match in that hot, sweaty venue. Where was that place at?
The Masonic Temple here in Cleveland, by Ohio City.
Oh,
and I spoiler alert, I'll say that even though we're going to get into our favorite matches, that's one of my favorite matches of 2015.
Yeah.
Wasn't in WWE, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To be there for that match was great.
It was awesome. All right, so let's get into it. Steve, your top moment. This is Awesome Wrestling Show.
For our show?
For our show.
My top moment? Oh, man, I've been thinking about this. And I think, and this goes back further, I think it's that Neville moment.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact that it was like, hey, man, we are a part of this. Like, it came up to us. That set the tone for me. Because he came over to us, knew exactly who we were, loved the interview.
Yeah.
Enjoyed being on with us over the phone to sit there and talk with us. For me, that was the moment that was like, all right, we are doing something really cool here. What we're doing is great. It's respected by the guys we're interviewing and talking about. That I think that's the moment because that set the tone for me for the rest of 2015 for doing this.
My moment and being a part of WWE when going to the hotel and hanging out with a lot of guys and Lawler and Miz and Ziggler and being friends with those guys. Obviously, it's a huge moment. But one thing for me is sitting on the back of a U-Haul truck at the Masonic table, talking to Vader about wrestling for a good half an hour. This is a guy that, and I know he's a dick. He's hard to work with if you're a promoter. But here's a guy that I grew up watching. My dad looks like Vader. I was called Mini Vader growing up. And to be sitting on the back of a U-Haul truck after he just had his spot and to talk with Vader, it's something that I can't really, that's my top moment.
Sure.
It's, bullshitting with a guy that I grew up watching, I loved watching, and still love to this day. And him being so cool with me, knowing that he's a dick to other people, watching him be a dick to other people, but him chit-chatting with me, not shooing me off or being short with me, but asking me questions, and we're just talking back and forth. You can't replace that moment.
I say my other, it's not a top moment, but I think aside from Sasha, because I love doing that interview, my other funnest moment was sitting down with Samoa Joe, and unfortunately at your expense, Samoa Joe and I just kind of ribbing on you. To have a guy that we're watching and just like making fun of us, like either one of us, I thought that was great. I was
right off the spot too. Right off the spot.
Oh yeah,
off top of the show too.
Yeah, he's just and we got that show right up. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
To be a part of that, and then just seeing Joe afterwards and everything, and always being able to BS with him when he was there.
Yeah. A lot of great moments, a lot of great interviews, and we hope 2016 brings the same for us. And we're not ending 2015 yet because Scott Hall, as of this show, we have not yet interviewed. But
maybe my favorite moment hasn't even happened yet. Do you know how much I loved Razor Ramon growing up?
There you go. He might be sitting in that chair.
That'd be amazing. Did I ever tell you the bookmark story?
Yes, you did.
Did I tell it on this show?
I don't think so, but you said to me off the air.
That's right. There was this girl. She was a cutie when I was in elementary school. I had bookmarks, and I had two of them from WWE, and she was a wrestling fan, and I had a Razor Ramon bookmark and a Bret Hart one. And she was like, oh, I like wrestling. Can I have one of your bookmarks? I was like, I don't know. Which one do you want? And she was like, Bret Hart. And I was like, yes, because I'm totally not giving up Razor Ramon. That's my Razor Ramon bookmark story.
You ever get it back?
My Bret Hart one?
Yeah.
I don't think I did.
No.
That's all right.
That's all right. You'll be all right. It's
Yeah.
like Bret Hart. Met Bret Hart, too. I had a picture with Bret Hart.
I didn't meet him.
I did. I was.
You did.
Yeah. And then New Day was there. Got a picture with New Day before they were the hot thing. And then they took off. Dana Brooke, able to talk with her and chit chat with her, who's from the Cleveland area. Seven Hills. She's with NXT. A big part of NXT. So we talked to a lot of people on and off the air, Steve, and we hope 2016 brings the same for us. So we talked about our top moments for us personally. The first 15 minutes of the show, and we want to say thank you to all listeners. Everybody who's clicked play, who has come up to us and chit-chatted, everybody who has downloaded our show, who has
spread the word to others.
Yeah, chit-chatted with us on Twitter about the show, people who have come up to us even during AIW or even Facebook messaged me about the show. Some of the wrestlers and some of the referees for AIW, they listen to the show regularly.
Yeah.
So we want to say thank you to everybody who listens to the show. Without you, we wouldn't be able to go to WrestleMania. on someone else's dime. We wouldn't be able to keep doing this show, and that we go out to AIW and have them embrace us and let us go. I mean, not many other people let two strangers go into a locker room and set up mic equipment, and sit there and wait for people, to come to us after we ask them to come on the show. It doesn't happen very often, and for a podcast just starting up like ourselves, we want to thank John Thorne for letting us come out and be a part of the show and letting us, attend all these events for free and watching and also interviewing a lot of his stars that come through, because he does make it known to these people that, hey, these two guys are with me. If you give them 10, 15 minutes, we really appreciate it. So, but also thank you to the fans and all their followers and all their people who click play for the show. A big thank you to you, because we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you.
Yeah. Everybody hitting retweet when we retweet links or when we put out links on Twitter. Yeah. That's great too. As we said, Nick Gage, probably the most intense interview that we had. If you didn't listen to it, go back. That was Nick's first appearance coming out of prison.
Yeah.
Which, word on the street is he's currently back there. Yeah. So maybe we'll get to the next one too.
Yeah.
But I want to say this real quick as we recap kind of the fun of our interviews and shows. Best interview that could have gone really awkwardly, but transitioned out of it, Colt Cabana. Remember our first introduction to Colt Cabana?
God, yeah.
He was far away. It was dark down there. We couldn't tell who the hell it was. And he just goes, "You guys want to talk to me?" And we're like, looking, covering our eyes, like, "Who is it?" "Yeah, I guess so. Come on. You guys want me to sit down? You want to talk?"
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, Colt, come on over."
If you don't want me to, I won't come over.
Yeah, I don't have to.
And it was kind of awkward. I'm like, oh man, it's Colt Cabana, but he had a hat on.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was him. It was dark. I'm like, who is this guy who wants to come on the show? Like, we just don't let anybody come on the show.
Yeah.
We've had to turn away some people that come over, like, hey, can I come on? I'm like, sorry, we don't know who you are. Like,
what would you like to talk about?
Yeah, what do you want? We don't know anything about you, sir. So,
we're not doing that to be D's. It's just we want to come off educated when we talk to you.
Correct. We don't want to be like, oh, so who are you? But yeah, Colt Cabana showing me how to do GarageBand.
Yeah, that's so. It's turned out into a good relationship.
Yeah,
with him.
he's a great guy, Colt Cabana. But yeah, it's like little stuff like that doesn't make the show, but we had little moments. Too Cold Scorpio, choking us during our photos and stuff like that.
Man.
Just, here's a guy, Flash Funk, man. Come on,
what a hilarious interview.
Yeah, that was great. Very candid interview.
If I would have known what 420 was, I would have called it the 420 Splash.
And if you want to listen to any of these past interviews, they are on iTunes, they're on Stitcher, Libsyn. If you want to go and listen to our past interviews, you can scroll right through. All our interviews are titled in the show. So if you want to listen to Chris Sabin, you scroll through, find Chris Sabin. Interview is in that show. You can go back and listen to our past shows, and each show is titled by interview or by the main topic of that show as well. So like I said, really appreciate everybody who subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, you guys can go on iTunes, subscribe, leave a comment for us, leave a rating for us. It helps us, and it's really a kind of an honor that when someone searches for our podcast, right there as the podcasts that are kind of the same as ours is Jim Ross, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Jericho. So, I mean, we're right there with the other guys. I mean, not in the same downloads, but we're in the same genre. We're in the same ballpark. We're not sitting behind the dugout, but we're in the ballpark, Steve.
Yeah. Apologize, we're not broadcasting live from Broken Skull Ranch
or from Oklahoma Sonic.
Yeah, with a great setup.
Yeah. Sorry, I mean, we get studio quality. We're not broadcasting on, some guys we interview.
Sorry, I didn't just finish sound check with Slash.
Yeah, no. We
celebrating Lemmy's birthday.
Rock and roll. Whoa. No, but like a lot of people come up to us and say, "Oh man, your podcast, you have great mics, you have good equipment," and other people come to us like, "These podcasts, wrestling podcasts, you have a freaking iPad," and they set the iPad on the table and they record, and it sounds like you're recording in a garage or like, next to it, this crappy audio. We take pride in our production. Our setup here. We take pride. We're able to do this because of CLEsound.com and be able to have some great equipment to make us sound better than the average bear wrestling podcast. I think we're in the top tier, and we just speak for sound quality. Now our substance has to be worked on.
We'll get there when we have video footage. Okay,
yeah,
it's a 3-camera shot, like the Stone Cold podcast.
It'd be great. I wear my short shorts too, like Stone.
Yeah.
God, my short jean shorts.
Yeah.
Black. All right, Steve. We've done tuning our own horn here. Let's get into 2015.
Is our horn a trombone?
It can be if you like.
Well, the New Day would.
Can you play the trombone? We all know you can sing.
This show rocks. This show rocks. That's all I got.
Okay. Let's get into it. 2015 recap of professional wrestling. Thanks for downloading this week's show, but we want to hear from you. Send your questions, comments, or concerns to me, Glenn. The email is glenn@clesound.com. That's glenn@clesound.com. And your question could be read during the show. All right, Steve, let's go into it. We've seen a lot of professional wrestling this year, in person and on TV, but WWE, they are the big boys. Let's go after them. Before we get into our top categories, we have 5 or 6 categories we're going to talk about, recapping the year. We want to know what you think. So if you agree with us or disagree, make sure to tweet at me, at GlenmoreCLE.
Or the Steve Guy.
And also our show Twitter, which everybody seems to be ignoring.
TIA Wrestling.
We have a lot of listeners, but they follow us on Twitter. They follow me
They
personally.
follow me.
And they follow you. They don't follow the show.
Follow the show, folks.
And really, it's all us retweeting ourselves anyways. So, I mean, don't follow the show.
Well, sometimes I try to tweet from the show so that my Twitter doesn't fill up with just wrestling.
Yeah, I do that too sometimes. But follow TIA Wrestling. Give us some follow love, because if you do, be able to see see what happens with the show.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a contest and you get a prize. You never know.
You never know.
We do contests sometimes.
We gave out NXT tickets. We had a pizza party.
Yeah, we did. We
And
gave out a
NXT.
book. We gave out Daniel Bryan's book.
Yeah, we gave out 2 books. No, 1 book.
1 book.
You kept the copy. I kept the copy. We gave out 1. Okay. So, all right, Steve. We're going to go. We have some categories here.
Okay.
And we have top star. We have breakout star. Underachieving star. Top matches and top moments of the year. And we're not going to, go an hour podcast with this. We're already 20 minutes in, but we're going to go some of the top really quick, through these categories. We're going to do a 2016 prediction show in January, where we're going to actually go over our 2015 predictions, see what we got right, see who had the better predictions of the year, and then we're going to give our 2016 predictions for WWE for the coming year. So
I like it.
That show will be separate as well. But this show is strictly recapping 2015. Now, keep in mind, people, we're recording here on Tuesday morning, December 15th, so halfway through the month of December. So anything that happens after this is not part of the show. We apologize. I mean,
yeah.
But I think we picked a good time with Vinnie Mac coming back and Reigns winning the title. Don't think anything maybe else huge might happen between now and December 31st. They have a Christmas show going to be coming up, which is all about gimmicky stuff.
Yeah, the Slammies.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
We'll
Slammies
see.
too. So I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think we're at a good point to where we can actually say, okay, we can give our top best moments. All right, let's go over underachieving superstar of the year, a guy that maybe should have had a better year, and either with injury or just being booked correctly or just fading out and not being over the fans, has underachieved this year. Who is your guy?
Well, I could go easily and say Daniel Bryan, because wins the Intercontinental title and then he's gone. But in fairness, he wasn't even here most of the year.
Right.
So it pains me to say this, but and we talked about in the last show, I got to say Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
A guy who closed out 2014 as hot as you can be, wins the Survivor Series match against The Authority as being the last guy. It was 1-on-4, and he goes on to eliminate everybody and be the sole survivor, wins the Intercontinental Championship at TLC over Luke Harper in his hometown of Cleveland, and nothing. Everybody was red hot for him at Royal Rumble. That was disappointing to see his time frame in there, as well as Daniel Bryan's time frame. Those were the two guys. Remember Royal Rumble this year? And everybody was like, really? That's what we got out of Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler? That was ridiculous. And then this was his 2015. It was not a whole lot going on for DZ, unfortunately.
I agree. Ziggler is one of those guys that has the ability to be a top star, but just seems to be stale right now. He's had the same gimmick for almost 8 years. It's just something that we're kind of bored with. My guy, Steve, you're not going to like this, and he may make an appearance in the show to retort what I'm saying, but I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt.
Oh.
It's been a while since Bray's been on the show, buddy.
Why would you say that about Bray Wyatt?
You know what? He is a guy that beginning of the year, he had his feud.
Hang on, man, 1 second there. Maybe my fireflies ain't been out as much as they should. But I'm the new face of fear.
Are you, Bray? You keep saying that, but I'm not really
My
feeling it.
army is growing stronger by the day. You 4 men now.
You just beat 50-year-old men. That's not. You barely beat them.
Better watch how you phrase that, son.
We're gonna have
Bray Wyatt beats no man.
Oh. Okay.
Except Bray Wyatt.
Oh, okay. Didn't make sense there, Bray, but okay. Your promos don't make sense anyway. Who's your next feud, Bray?
Man. It's an innuendo.
Who's your next feud, huh?
Well, we'll be with the Dudleys for a while.
Oh, that's great. Really sets you apart, buddy. All right, yeah, Bray Wyatt. Because he lost The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Right.
That match was not one of the best. He got hurt, actually, before WrestleMania, practicing for the match. So he wasn't 100%. And then the whole, he lost his 2 guys, and Harper and Rowan. They went out to do their own thing. And then they reunited, but it just seemed he seemed to be in that purgatory between being on the cups of being a top guy, but also being, a guy that a mid-carder nobody cares about.
Anyone but you, Roman.
Yeah, that whole storyline was awful. He lost a bunch of matches. He just wasn't being billed as a scary guy. The whole Undertaker Kane thing was kind of weird. That could have been awesome. That could have been sure to be great.
I loved what Shawn Michaels said on his on the Stone Cold podcast, because he has said what I've been saying is that Bray Wyatt should be the next Undertaker.
Yeah.
This generation's Undertaker, and the things that you should be able to do with it. He's got to win matches.
Yeah, I agree too. But he's not being both like that, and
doesn't necessarily have to win the title, because Undertaker actually didn't win the championship in 20 years. He did not win the championship that much.
Yeah, but still, he's not. Yeah, his entrance is cool when he comes out, but his promos have been the same repetitive stuff. I mean, but he's a guy that I think underachieved because he can be a top guy, but he's still stuck in that purgatory of mid-carder status to almost to where we don't really care about Bray Wyatt. He needs followers. I like how he has a family now. So hopefully in 2016 it improves to where he can maybe move up the tier, keep his family, but also branch out on his own to be in a title picture. So he has a talent to wrestle and to be in a title picture, but do you bring the family with that, or do you branch off? And because if he has a family still, I think he's still stuck in mid-card status.
The Undertaker very rarely was alone. And what I mean by that is comes in
that's Taker, dude. That's Undertaker.
Well, I know, but I try to, if you're going to compare him to anybody, comes in with Paul Bearer, or really with $1 Million Man and Brother Love, but then Paul Bearer. Then you have the Kane storyline. There's always somebody to go with it. Then corporate ministry, and he's got his whole ministry of everybody. So very rarely was he alone, with the exception of the Undertaker that you love.
Yeah.
American Badass Undertaker. Yeah. So I don't know. Bray Wyatt, it's almost like his character doesn't work without the followers, because that's what he is. He's supposed to invoke this cult-like thing to you. So he needs to have the followers. But as I said, the Undertaker didn't win very many championships. Maybe we're at the point where Bray Wyatt needs to win one. I do like what they're doing. We're finally at the point, because the whole Dudley thing, look, this could have gone wrong on Monday Night Raw, and Team ECW in Philadelphia could have won the day after TLC. What I also liked about TLC is Bray Wyatt's team lost one guy in the elimination match, and that's it. They otherwise dominated it. Yeah. So, maybe that's the start of going in the correct direction, because the problem with all these storylines is it's always continuously ended with Bray Wyatt losing.
But the thing is, Bray Wyatt, for him to be billed as a top star or a guy that is going to be a top guy in the WWE, he's going to have to lose his followers and go out on his own if he wants to be, pushing for a title. He has the ability. People like him, but when you have 3 big guys backing you up, it kind of takes away from being the new face of fear when you have three monsters to help you out.
It does.
So that whole thing has to kind of, drop off. But is he good enough to go on his own yet to be intriguing, interesting enough? Is that happening yet? I don't think so. Even against his top rivals, even 2014, he went against Cena and all these top guys, and he lost. He was the loser. The feud ended, and he moved on to someone else. It's like we can't take him seriously with all these cool promos.
He's got to win
if he's losing all the time. He has a kind of loser aura to him, and I would like to see him, branch off on his own and win and be built as a monster. So Bray Wyatt is my 2015 underachiever of the year.
All right, man.
2000. All right, man.
We'll see.
I'm sorry, Bray.
We'll see. You'll soon learn the new face of fear.
All right, you keep saying that every year, buddy.
You're learning.
All right.
Takes a lot of fear to have three big, ugly men like that behind
Bray,
you.
we gotta go. We gotta move on, Bray. Your promo was a little bit too long, buddy. All right.
That's what I've been told.
Breakout star of the year. Now, this is a star that was not on the WWE scene before 2015, a guy that has made a huge impact in 2015 for WWE. And you know what, Steve? We'll even branch this off to NXT. Maybe NXT, they weren't, maybe a top star earlier in the year, but later on became a huge star. So not necessarily WWE, because NXT has some, potential as well. So
sure.
Let's go with the whole WWE landscape with the main roster at NXT. Who is your breakout star?
I'm going to give you two, because you said this is a guy, but one of my two is a lady.
Well, we're going to say
so I have Kevin
wrestler.
Owens.
Yeah.
Hands down, breakout star WWE this year.
And let me guess you a second one.
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks. There we go. Two people we interviewed on the same day.
Yeah.
Two.
They did. Sasha broke the mold with the Divas.
Yeah.
NXT, she did it. Her main event match with Bayley for NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Getting up into the WWE main roster, drawing attention in that manner. The fact that you can go on there and she's not even involved in matches and people are chanting, "We want Sasha."
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of anytime CM Punk wasn't in a match, or I guess even now, people start chanting CM Punk.
Yeah.
She has nothing to do with the match. Or people would just start chanting Daniel Bryan when he wasn't in the match, and they just start doing yes because they wanted Daniel Bryan. That was Sasha Banks in 2015. And Kevin Owens, guy's resume speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Was taking NXT by storm. And everything he's done within a year.
Yeah, I agree. Owens has risen to the top. There's a few months there. It seemed to be, as he lost to Cena, it seemed to be, tailing off a little bit. But he won the IC title. Even though he lost it, he's still in the picture. He's still a top guy. And, who knows? There's rumors of him going against Lesnar at WrestleMania. That could be a possible matchup. So hopefully Owens has a big part of WrestleMania coming up. All right, I agree with Owens and Sasha, but just for the sake of entertainment purposes, I'm going to go two different people.
All right.
I'm going to go a male and a female. My female is Bayley.
Sure.
Even though she hasn't made the main roster, she has had a ton of success, has a almost John Cena type following for NXT as the top babyface wrestler. She is a woman that I think she's very attractive, but compared to girls,
she's a cutie.
Compared to other women, as the Bella Twins or anybody else, maybe she's not on par as those women, as the mold of WWE in the recent years, and she still is way over. Her gimmick is way over. She has a ton of fans. She's very sympathetic because of if she is getting beat, her fans. She's a top babyface, and you believe this. You believe her storyline. So Bayley is the female breakout star of the year for me. I think it's only a matter of time before she makes her mark. It'd be interesting to see what happens when she goes to the main roster. If they keep that gimmick, if that gimmick is going to go over with the WB crowd. It's a different beast. And my top male superstar of the year, breakout star. Well, they're not just one, but it's three. The New Day, breakout star of the year. These are three guys. Okay, Big E, we all know him with Ziggler and AJ Lee starting out as the big man who didn't talk.
Right.
Kofi Kingston has seemed to be almost there at main event status. Had some great feuds with Randy Orton, who's a top star, but just never seemed to get that push. Has had his mark in Royal Rumble with his spots. Then he had Xavier Woods, a guy that is in TNA as Consequences Creed, and then made his way to NXT, a guy that maybe you really think would be getting a big push for him, but he's very talented, very smart man. You book those three together. The gimmick didn't work earlier. It didn't work that well.
No.
But they got them to be themselves, be funny, be funny heels, be cool heels, and we have seen this whole year rising. They had no merch, and now they have freaking unicorn horns where you can buy on WWEshop.com.
They're great.
And people are buying them like hotcakes.
You could get a knit cap, or you could get like the headband.
They have a Christmas ornament. They have their own Christmas ornament. They have their hoodies. They have everything. So I'm going to say Breakout Stars, the New Day.
In 2015, the New Day has made the trombone and the unicorn relevant in the WWE universe.
They are. And dropping 90s references in their promos.
So random.
Like crazy, too. So New Day. And, with me, New Day is going to be...
this is Awesome Wrestling Show. Don't you dare be sour. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were doing. That sounded like a little bit like Bray Wyatt yelling. But yeah, New Day way over, and tag team champions 2 times, some great matches, bringing back the Freebird role. Great chemistry between these 3 guys, and
sweet dance moves.
I'm going to be very sad when they break these guys up, and hopefully it's not too soon. So they are my 2015 breakout star, the New Day. So we got the underachieving breakout star. Let's go to best matches of 2015 in the WWE.
In WWE. Okay.
Now we're going to talk about AIW, and we're other promotions as well. Other superstars are not with WWE, but since WWE is the main guy, big dog, the big dog in my.
Big dog.
I am the
big
dog.
Guy Russell's.
WWE is, top matches for WWE. Now, I'm going to go first. My top match in WWE this year has to be the Royal Rumble match between Cena, Lesnar, and Rollins. 3 guys, 3 beasts, 3 guys who are killing it, and they put on a hell of a match at the Royal Rumble. Great story from top to bottom, and I really enjoyed that match. That was a match that made me enjoy wrestling, and they gave them the time and the way it ended up. I love that match, and that's my top match for 2015 for WWE.
That's pretty good. I think I'm stuck between 2.
Okay.
Because actually maybe 3.
We'll discuss. I'm sure we have the
because
same.
I enjoyed
taste.
John Cena, Kevin Owens first match.
That's number 2 for me.
What became a triple threat match at WrestleMania, I think, just because of the shock factor and everything.
We're talking about matches.
Yeah,
match from top to bottom.
I enjoyed Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and then
right.
Seth Rollins went in there.
I disagree, but okay.
But when you bring up that Royal Rumble one, I do got to think in my mind. All right, was that a little bit better? Could have been. But Cena, Kevin Owens, I think was one of my top matches, which is crazy. I'm sitting here saying John Cena match was one of the top matches, but it was. But I also really liked Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar prior to the Undertaker interrupting that match. But that match in general, I really enjoyed.
I enjoyed Rollins versus Cena at SummerSlam for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
That was a great match between those two with Rollins winning the title. Also, another one that comes to our mind, the females. Bayley versus Sasha Banks and NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Were we allowed to include NXT?
WWE, yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's true.
Come on.
Sorry. I wasn't thinking. I think I still formulate them into 2 brands.
Yeah. Bayley versus Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
And the other one was, I'm trying to find it. There was one more female match. I think it was Sasha versus Becky Lynch, I believe.
One more Diva match?
Yeah. I think it was NXT. It wasn't a Divas match. It was NXT Divas match. I want to say it's Sasha versus Becky Lynch. way back. I'm not sure.
Was there NXT? There was an NXT Takeover match right before the Royal Rumble, I think, right? And it was the 4-way that we ended up talking about.
Okay, no, it was Bayley. No, Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. NXT Takeover Unstoppable, which was before Brooklyn. This is kind of like when those
right before Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was
right before they got called up.
It was when those pay-per-views were just catching on, NXT stuff, and now there's one live tomorrow, and overseas.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be amazing.
3 p.m. Eastern.
It's going to be amazing. That show's going to blow away TLC.
Samoa Joe and Finn Balor is going to be pretty sweet.
And that crowd, I think in London, it's going to be foreign crowds are much better than the U.S. crowds.
There have been some great NXT matches in general.
Yeah.
That maybe I'm just not even giving good credit to because, who were Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn?
Yeah, that was good.
That was excellent. Owens and Finn Balor.
The ladder match at NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn was great.
Yeah.
Finn has
Owens and Balor in Japan.
Yeah, it was just some great matches. I want to say as well, maybe matches that maybe didn't get the same hype as a wrestling match, but like a match like Lesnar versus Taker at Hell in the Cell, which I had a chance to see live, was great. The story behind that in that match, the way they used the ring, the reason Hell in the Cell. And these are Taker's getting up there in age. And Lesnar is a beast right now. You combine those two together. That was probably one of the best matches. The plot was great for those. But, yeah, Owens and Cena, and then Lesnar, Rollins, and Cena at Royal Rumble were great matches. So we got to tip our hat off to these guys for putting on some great matches.
I'm gonna throw in the what we just saw at TLC, the tag match to open it up.
All right.
Because I enjoyed it that much.
All right. Yeah, we can throw that in there.
From had everything you wanted in action in that kind of I was watching it, and it is funny that the Dudley Boys are around now because it really did take me back to a tag team ladder match hasn't seemed this fresh to me since the days of Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys.
Yeah, we got to see if this takes off, if that just a one-time thing, or is this going to be a regular thing with these guys, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and I hope that these guys put on some great matches because they have a capability of doing. It's a gimmick match, it's a gimmick TLC, but if they can have great matches without the gimmick, that'd be great too. But the tag team division was terrible early on this year. Really, they really established some top teams. I'm not a fan of the Usos at all, but they're in the mix.
It's like then it hit a point where it was right there, and then it tapered off again.
Yeah. But New Day has really, put a shot in the arm with these guys.
Yeah.
Lucha Dragons, your team. You've been chanting. You've been chanting that since WrestleMania.
That's right.
All right. So those are our top matches. Let's go to top moments. These can be anything from a match, okay, or This Is Awesome moment. Let's go to This Is Awesome moments of 2015. Moments that made you jump out of your seat. Moments that live in your memory for the whole year.
All right.
I'm going to go one, and this just happened. Vinnie Mac coming back is a top moment. Just Vince McMahon has been over a year since he's been on TV. So see Vinnie Mac on TV is great. Hopefully it's great for ratings. Another moment for myself is Owens versus Cena. Owens coming out, challenging Cena. That was a great moment.
Before the actual even match.
Yeah.
Just Owens coming out.
Yeah.
And just showing up on Raw, doing the pop-up powerbomb.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was terrific. That was a great moment. And obviously, Rollins going out there, cashing in at WrestleMania main event, winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but then having it and killing with it for the next for months after that before he got injured. So that has to be my top moment is Rollins winning at WrestleMania. Us being there in person and hearing his music come on and him running out. Just terrific booking for that match, and that's the WrestleMania moment right there. That's the top moment in my view.
I can agree with all of those, but to go even further to the Vinnie Mac appearance, Vinnie Mac showing up on Raw, but then getting punched, taking a Superman punch to the face. Woo! That was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I know.
So that was a lot of fun to watch. in WrestleMania, also with Seth Rollins, aside from him cashing in, because I think it's a moment that gets forgotten about a little bit, but when I think back to WrestleMania and I think of like amazing moves and whatnot, it's the RKO and Seth Rollins Randy Orton match to end it. Rollins going for the curb stomp, which we no longer get to see anymore.
Yeah.
And getting popped up
Yeah.
off the curb stomp by Randy Orton and drops into an RKO. Probably one of the best RKOs ever.
Yeah.
Man, those are. Oh, and then the Salida del Sol, which I've already talked about enough, but in the TLC match this past weekend with Kalisto and whichever Uso it was, going off a ladder onto a ladder. That's when I knew a tag team ladder match was back, baby.
Yeah, a lot of great moments for 2015 when it comes with WWE, and Seth is right up there with a lot of moments.
At the time,
Owens.
I will say Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Sasha all debuting on Raw, and then putting their submission moves on.
That was a cool moment,
all
too.
at the same time.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought that was going to be, lead to something so much bigger, and it has not yet.
There are, some matches that have gone, that involve the Wyatt family with them, with, Tommy Dreamer and them recently to, putting when Bray and Reigns were going at it, those brawls that they had. So there were some cool brawls that expanded, to ringside and taking out the announcers table and whatnot and going backstage.
Oh, the Lesnar Undertaker brawl.
Yeah, that was a cool
where
moment
everybody
too.
had to separate them, and it keeps going on backstage.
Yeah,
that was good.
I did like. Me being a Kane mark. They have them the spot where Kane comes out of the ring and grabs him and drags you to quote unquote hell. But they never use fire pyro that come out of the ring. They had smoke. Usually have smoke.
Yeah.
But when I think Kane wanted to drag Rollins underneath the ring, I think he did.
Yeah.
And then the fire shot up from the hole in the ring. I thought that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, sure. That's good.
Obviously, Kane and Undertaker, Brothers of Destruction, teaming up again.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool moment. So a lot. Rusev coming out on a tank at WrestleMania was a cool moment to see live. In front of you in person was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool moments, and for WWE,
getting to see Sting in a WWE ring
was great
at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was great, and hopefully he gets better because
I think he's done.
Me too. I think he's done too.
Kudos to him for throwing in that
yeah.
match with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, toughing it out. But yeah, he's Sting in a WWE ring was great to see. He had the Shield reunion for 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, that might be my top
5 seconds.
Awesome moment. That was so worth it.
They're together. Well, they were together for 5 seconds when they put someone through a table.
Randy Orton.
Yeah. And they were together.
It was the fatal 4-way match.
And then when they faced the Wyatt family, it was those three versus Wyatt family, I think.
It was Orton, Ambrose, and Reigns against the Wyatt family.
No, it was Rollins. Remember the time where Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose were in the ring, and Reigns and Ambrose were like standing up to the Wyatt family? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Was it the Wyatt family?
I think so, but Rollins wasn't really part of it. Kind of. Yeah, I forget. Something random happened there.
Yeah. But you had the three guys. You had Rollins standing back, and then you see him step forward and be with those two guys. Even for a second, that was a pretty cool moment too. So a lot of moments. It was against the Wyatt family. So, but yeah, it was a lot of cool moments in WWE this year. The ratings have been terrible, so it hasn't really measured up to ratings on par with that. But a lot of cool moments for us as we're wrestling fans. We appreciate the cool moments, and we hope in 2016 it brings a lot more.
The
cool
moments were too spread out.
Yeah, they were. They were.
That's why I keep saying this past Monday Night Raw was fantastic because you have Vince McMahon coming back and Roman Reigns finally going over, plus the Extreme Rules match that we got to see.
Yeah, it's a lot of great moments, and you're right. They are too spread out, and they need to be more consistent with these moments.
Yeah, one of the most complete Monday Night Raws this past week of the entire year.
I agree, but the bar has been set low, buddy.
I agree. I understand.
Bar is set low.
But it's nice to finally have a complete one.
That's true. All right, final category before we get into independent scene, AIW and TNA. Top star of 2015 in the WWE. Steve, I'll let you go first. Top star could be male, it could be a female.
I think the top star might have been Seth Rollins.
Okay.
I mean, he carried that belt for a long time.
He did.
And it was only injury, as far as we know,
top heel,
that led him to no longer having it.
Top heel in the wrestling business with the title for that long and carrying it and being the Authority's little boy toy and being the heel. That laugh, his promos, I think were great. So I agree.
I don't think he should have had to, but he carried WWE programming every week, including being on SmackDown all the time.
Yeah. And also, I mean, when he got injured injured and is gone for 6 to 9 months. I mean, it really put a monkey wrench in what the WWE is going to be planning to do, and which led to Roman Reigns winning the title. If it wasn't for Seth Rollins being hurt, Reigns would never have the title this year.
Well, and look, we don't know. Maybe they were going to build to that anyway.
No,
but still,
no, they weren't.
At the very least, we would have seen Rollins with the title for 2 more months.
Correct. Yeah, he would have probably held it for 2 more months.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with my top star. Well, top female star. How about that?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, who's my top female star?
Top female star. Your top male star is Seth Rollins.
I still think Sasha is my top female star, even though she didn't win.
Yeah.
I know they want it to be Charlotte, and you can make a great argument for Charlotte because she had some incredible matches this year too, and she is now the Divas champion. But I still go back to the fact that people are chanting, we want Sasha the entire time.
All right. I got ties. I got top stars.
Okay.
For both male and female.
Okay.
Male, I agree, Seth Rollins, but on the same par of a top star, and I'm not even going as wins and losses. I'm talking about a guy that's made an impact in WWE for the whole year, a guy that champion.
So Roman Reigns.
No. They're a champion. Made a big impact, and I think these guys, where they're at right now, are...
Oh, so we're going back to New Day?
New Day. Seth Rollins and New Day.
So I want to go somebody different than the breakout star.
Well, New Day has really... I mean, WB has been trash this year at some points.
Yeah.
But WWE...
They've been a reason to watch every week.
They got it right with New Day. Every week, the trombone, Xavier Woods, great on the mic, great on commentary. And you have Big E and Kofi being 2 goofy guys that's who they are in real life, too.
Yeah.
It is great. So I'm going to say Seth Rollins and the New Day being top stars for males. Now, for females, I'm going to go and that's going to be a tie between Sasha Banks and Bayley.
And Bayley.
Breakout women's, but she has killed it in NXT. Always had great matches. And Sasha, you said it.
See, the reason I go hands down Sasha is because I don't think Bayley kills it in NXT without Sasha Banks being there with her.
Bayley's still killing it right now.
Well, I know she's still killing it right now, but I think that Sasha was a huge part of that climb to continuously kill it.
So those are our top stars of the year for us in WWE in 2015. Here's a little side category before we get into AIW and for TNA and whatnot really quick. Worst wrestler of the year.
Worst? I thought
this is a person that you just cringe every time they get in the ring. If you see him wrestle, you're just terrible wrestler.
So not underachieving?
No, this is just terrible wrestler, dude.
You just don't want to watch it?
There's a difference between being under. Ziggler's a great wrestler, but
that's true.
He's an underachiever.
Man.
Worst. I'll go first. Eva Marie is god awful. She's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
She is not good looking to me at all.
Oh, I think she's very attractive.
If you see her in person, that face. All
right.
Plastic surgery, I think. Did a lot of.
Oh, come on now.
And she is awful. She's going to hurt somebody. All her training with Brian Kendrick did not pay off.
I'll wrestle her.
She is still awful. And only reason why she's wrestling is because she's on Total Divas. She's bad. She's going to hurt somebody. She has hurt people.
Yeah, that's probably a good one. She is not good.
So who's your worst
I
wrestler?
can't disagree with that at all.
Who is your worst wrestler?
Yeah, that one's hard to disagree with.
Is Ziggler up there?
No, Ziggler's not worst wrestler.
Is Kane up there? How about Adam Rose?
Is the Great Khali still out there?
How about Cameron? No, he's not. How about Bo Dallas?
No, Bo Dallas
could
be.
Braun Strowman. He's up there, too. He's awful.
Yeah. No, I think Eva Marie's probably spot on, the worst wrestler.
Yeah. Her or Cameron. Cameron's terrible, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Let us know who you think the worst
Baron
wrestler
Corbin,
is.
maybe?
He's okay. I think he's gimmick-wise, he's not.
Yeah, I think it's the gimmick that holds him back.
Wrestling ability, terrible. Has to be Eva Marie.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's no way for me to disagree with that.
No, definitely not.
I have nobody. The guys, there's some things that happen within their matches. I'm like, I wish they do a few more moves, but no.
One guy that is not with WWE, that he was with WWE, now he's making his mark in TNA, a Cleveland native, a guy that's been on the show 3 times, who won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship and has carried TNA as the top heel, has really come in his own with his whole EC3 gimmick, is Ethan Carter III, EC3 being the top guy in TNA, and coming here to AIW, seeing him wrestle, top wrestler. I wish WWE could bottle that up with EC3 and bring it over to WWE.
To me, that is the top carried out storyline across wrestling in 2015.
Yeah, it culminated with him winning the title.
Yes,
and building that up. Not really.
It was built.
Just letting it happen organically.
Yeah,
which
here he is. He's the nephew of the owner of the company. We just keep doing this. We're doing that. He's involved in a championship scene, even though he's not in the matches, but he's just this sniveling little jerk. And it was excellent. The way they told the story, the way it leads to his match, and like you said, culminating in him becoming the champion at the time. Fantastic. Best storytelling across the board in wrestling in 2015.
So I want to give him like his own little category because I think he's a breakout star. He deserves to be a top star. And he's had a lot of great moments, wrestling for TNA this year. So hopefully, with TNA up and what they're going to, the Pop channel? What channel?
I don't know what channel's that.
They're not in Discovery America. I think beginning next year they're going on some new channel.
All right.
Let's hope TNA stays afloat just because we want to see EC3. But then again, I would not mind seeing EC3 come back to WWE. And partaking.
It would just stink because he can't be the EC3 character.
I mean, he could be Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If TNA were to fold, I feel like you can easily grab the rights.
Oh, if TNA were for sale, and it's only a couple $1 million, Vince will scoop that up just to have the TV archives.
Yeah, and then you could bring EC3 in, and he could be a heel. And we're like, oh, you're the nephew of the competition, and then this whole thing. He could be like a heel face, where it's like your company couldn't even make it, blah blah blah, and just bashing him down. But he's still just like this jerk because he's this rich snobby kid.
People have been wearing Trouble T-shirts at Raw. You see them sometimes on the TV. So I mean, that guy's over. If he can get back to WWE, that would be terrific. All right, AIW. We've seen a lot of wrestlers. Obviously. One that comes to my mind is Johnny Gargano, NXT guy. Hopefully he gets a chance to be the full-time roster at NXT, but I think he's pretty happy doing the indie scene, going overseas, making money, probably a lot more money independent scene than he does if he signed with a contract with WWE and NXT.
Yeah.
So Johnny Gargano is a guy that sticks out in my mind for AIW. Also like Samoa Joe coming through, Young Bucks.
Well, Johnny Gargano, Samoa Joe match.
In some crappy gym, at a church in the west side of Cleveland, Samoa Joe versus Johnny Gargano.
That match was fantastic.
Yeah, it was terrific.
Dave Meltzer's got his scale. Well, you know what, Dave? Maybe your ass needs to roll through Cleveland every once in a while and go to AIW. Because I don't know that you saw that match anywhere else in the world.
I want to put up that.
I'm not saying it's a 5.0 on the Meltzer scale or whatever he does.
You're calling out the godfather of covering professional
But I
wrestling.
feel like there's matches that are worth.
Come on, Steve.
Worth watching.
You went in one article on theexaminer.com does not put you on the same scale as Dave Meltzer.
I'm not saying I'm on his scale. I'm saying he needs to roll through Cleveland so that he can, watch it.
He doesn't have the time.
Well, make time, Dave.
If he watched every single wrestling match, he would not have a life. He doesn't have.
He probably doesn't have a life.
That's true.
Well, for all we know, he watches AIW on Smart Video.
Yeah, there you go. AIWrestling.com. Hit up and you can watch all the archives of AI Wrestling. But other guys, Alex Daniels has really been taken off as a guy that was unknown, and now he was a part of that great match at AI Absolution, the main event.
Eddie Kingston may be the greatest heel.
Yes.
In wrestling.
Right now, he's
that people
great.
who only watch TNA and WWE don't know.
Yes. Yeah, he's in Chikara. He makes the independent scene. He's here in Cleveland. He's going to be here in Cleveland on Friday. As of this recording, Eddie Kingston sticks out. Who else sticks out?
He got your boy Frankie Flynn over.
Yes. I was hoping we could go this whole best of 2015.
It wasn't going to happen.
Not mentioning Frankie Flynn.
Wasn't going to happen.
Frankie Flynn does not deserve to be in a conversation at all. What has he done? He got his first singles win against Cliff Compton.
Oh, good for him. Oh, funny match of the year: Cliff Compton, Brian Myers,
that was a good
a.k.a. Kurt Hawkins, for the SmackDown Tag Team early 2000 SmackDown Champion of the World. Yeah. That was a good time.
That was a good one.
Brian doing "I'm Sorry, I Love You," with the super kick. Watching the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Was a lot of fun at AIW. Again, my favorite match, hands down, of the year was Absolution, and you had the 5-on-5.
Yeah, that was great.
Dudes on TV. Nobody off the balcony.
No.
But that's okay.
Not allow that. I think my best cool moment was Young Bucks at, I forget, Make Them Say, I think it was.
Yeah.
When they were there, they wrestled, but that place was packed.
Insane.
They haven't had a crowd like that since, and they've had some decent crowds. But that crowd, standing room only, packed. They packed as many people as they can in there, and super kick party, baby. It was going on all night.
Super kick party was on point. I'll tell you another favorite AIW moment. Terry Funk just destroying the concession stand and the entire place. Anything that Terry could find, he was throwing at people. I thought that was great. The old Funker.
So it was great. Some great moments in AIW. Some great moments in WWE. I think we've covered a lot of 2015.
How do we miss the one AIW moment of the year?
What was that?
That went viral.
Oh, Cedric Alexander.
Cedric Alexander.
And Candice LeRae.
The backbreaker Candice LeRae.
I'll tell you what.
From Absolution.
I'll tell you what. We're going to have our 2016, predictions, but
yeah,
if Candice LeRae is not in NXT by the end of 2016, something is deadly wrong with WWE.
Yeah, somebody needs to lose a job
because she has been killing it. She's a great wrestler, intergender wrestler, and she would fit in very, very well with NXT. Imagine her and Johnny at NXT.
Team Johnny versus Team Candice coming up this week too.
That'd be true. Yeah, AIW. So AI Wrestling has a lot of great events. Usually every month they have a show.
2 out of 3 falls. Eddie Kingston, Josh Prohibition.
It's gonna be great. I think they had it's a 2 out of 3 like stages of hell.
Oh yeah.
Too, but yeah, I mean they're gonna go 3.
Yeah,
it's a given. They're gonna go 3. But yeah, so great matches. AIWrestling.com is a site. A lot of great people roll through Cleveland this week. This is going to be broadcast.
After. Sorry.
Scott Hall was in town. Also, Tennessee Lee was in town.
Yeah.
Okay, I love Tennessee Lee when he was a manager for Jeff Jarrett. And he comes out and he goes, all right, everybody.
Did he bring in Booker T and Stevie Ray?
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
First, yeah. Tennessee Lee. He has managed a ton of people, and he's a great guy. I hope we get to talk to him. Hopefully, we've put this interview up with him. But he has managed guys like Psycho Sid. He managed Vader, Harlem Heat, the Jeff Jarrett, the Stud Stable, which Bunkhouse Buck was going to be. He was in Cleveland because this is past, and Terry Funk was in that stable too.
Yeah.
Stunning Steve Austin.
There you go.
Was in that table. So hopefully we get a chance to speak with Tennessee Lee, and who is his name is Robert Fuller. So hopefully get a chance to talk with him. All right. Anything else? Recapping 2015, man. We had a lot of great moments. A lot of top superstars. We hope you agree with our list. If you disagree, let us know on Twitter at GlenmoreCLE.
What current or former wrestler had? Well, first of all, we did say two very unfortunate.
Yes.
Many goodbyes in 2015.
Yes, we did.
Probably to top the list, most notable, Dusty Rhodes and Roddy Piper.
Whew.
And then you took down the list of several others. Vern Gagne.
Yeah.
And being a grandfather, so to speak, of pro wrestling.
Yeah, a lot of people. Nick Bockwinkel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Lindell, the Nature Boy, original Nature Boy.
Yeah.
Passed away this year. So those are just some of the few, the more notable ones that have passed away this year. But, we did the show when Dusty passed away, when Piper and these two guys, I mean, those are childhood, man. Those are two guys that, when we think wrestling in the 90s with WCW and WWE and WWF, those guys come to mind. And, as we get older every year, it seems like every year, we lose one or two of these guys that we looked up to. And, hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't happen this year. But,
yeah, hopefully we get a break this year.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Aside from them passing away, worst year, 2015 for any current or former pro wrestler.
Worst year.
Yeah. Who had the worst year? I say this grinning at you because for me it's obvious.
You go ahead. You go first.
We had a great run of a few shows with this one.
Oh, yeah. Hulk Hogan.
Worst year, 2015.
I would say that too because when he was with WWE, all he did was just shill stuff, the network and different stuff. I mean, it wasn't even like he was an active person with a wrestling angle. And then the whole, thing came out.
Well, you know something, brother.
Yeah.
Terry didn't have a very good 2015, dudes.
No.
But I'm going to tell you, we're going to make it happen in 2016, brother. What you going to do when Terry H.H. runs wild on you?
He is on the 2016 calendar for WWE.
Of course he is.
So that's pretty funny. So, I would agree. Hogan probably had one of the worst years this year.
I could have mentioned 2015 and not mentioned that.
I would say Ziggler had a bad year, too. Maybe.
Well, Seth Rollins took a bad year, turned it into a positive.
Oh, man. Rollins had a breakout star, but he had some bumps in the road. His girlfriend is racist. His
injury.
Gets caught.
Unfortunate pictures.
Yeah, dick pics. He had his fiance posting shit. Oh, but hey, WB champion needs to be back.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Worked out for him.
All right, that's going to wrap up our 2015 Best of WWE show. We talked about some interviews, our best moments for the show. And like I said, we wouldn't be able to do all this stuff if it wasn't for you guys listening. So make sure to subscribe, leave a rating, leave a comment, and be able to get notifications when we post our shows. We look forward to giving you more interviews in 2016. Look forward to giving you more shows in 2016 and being able to do more things with you and do more giveaways and really including you more into the show. So give us a follow on our Twitter account, TIA Wrestling. We're almost at 100 people. We need to break that 100. Well, I think we're 2 away as of this broadcast.
Of
followers on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
For the show.
We're talking about episode. Yeah, follow us on Twitter.
No, we're in the 60s.
Only in the 60s.
Yeah, we're in the 60s. We're going to stop at 69, right?
No.
That's what you wanted.
Did we hit it? No,
we
it's
didn't
the
hit it.
greatest episode ever.
No, we didn't hit it. Did we? No.
I don't know.
No, this is like 62 or 63.
Yeah. We're close.
We're close. It's going to happen by what? Early February?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Just in time for Valentine's Day.
69. Special episode of love.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Steve, it's been a pleasure broadcasting with you in 2015. Hopefully 2016 is even better for us for the show. Do a lot more things.
Absolutely.
Interview a lot more people, and it's always been a pleasure broadcasting with you, buddy.
I've enjoyed it.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next week. This is Awesome Wrestling Show. Signing off.